Oh, yep, there we go.
So how's it going, dude? I know we get just kind of met. I just messaged you the other day.
Yeah,
But because of this and doing all these interviews, I'm starting to see more people and everything.
yeah,
So I followed you. I thought you had a pretty cool story. So I just
yeah.
wanted to see what's up with you. What's your story? How'd you get to the States and all that? So it depends how far back you want to go, man. But start off when you're young, if you had any experience in the trades, was your dad a carpenter or whatever? And pretty much as your life evolved, how did you end up getting into where you are now?
All right, that's a big question. Oh, let's well, for me at least, I've had an
And you
interesting
can go
life.
as long as you want. There's no
Yeah.
timeline
All right,
or
cool,
time limit.
cool, cool. Um, I got. So I answer your question first and how I got in the trade, and I'll do how I went to America or the United States. But I'm obviously Australian, and we have an apprenticeship. We have like a residential carpentry apprenticeship we have to do, and so you have to do that to call yourself like a carpenter by trade.
Okay.
So I started that about 17 years old. I'm 23, so I'm still quite
Okay.
young. But I always had a knack for building and like carpentry, like at school when you'd have like the woodwork, and I'd always win the awards, and I'd always like just that was my nerdy kind of thing that I would do. Um, and then so I did my apprenticeship, and then it was pretty messy with like 2020, the lockdowns and stuff.
Yep.
Melbourne was like one of the strictest places in the world at the time. So that was like cutting in and out, like of my apprenticeship, my like formal apprenticeship, but I still worked. And then to where I am today, I'm currently in like Chattanooga, Tennessee, and I work for a general contractor and then still do side jobs, I suppose, because I've only been here for about since October. So it's
Okay.
pretty fresh. But then I've been in the country since January 2025, and we started in San Diego, California. So I presume
Oh,
you're in
okay.
California. You're in California, right?
Yeah, yeah. I'm in
Yeah.
San Francisco. Yeah.
Oh, cool. Yeah, so we started in San Diego because that's where my wife's family was. We didn't like leave for an apparent reason, but just went on an adventure and just drove across the country with no plan. Just me. I'm not sure if you've seen my trucks, but
Yep.
me and the two trucks. We just drove for a couple of weeks and then we ended up here. So that's kind of like the short rundown. Like I've done my apprenticeship. I've
Yeah.
worked for a few years out of my apprenticeship. Then I moved to the States. Gee, coming on a year and a half, not quite a year and a half. But yeah, no, it wasn't never like passed down or anything. It was always just I've always been naturally good with my hands, and it's just something that's come naturally as like all childhood building stuff. Always been creative, and then when I realized, oh, you can actually do this as a profession, I left school and did that. So
So I'm guessing you moved out here for your girlfriend then. I'm guessing she met you in Australia and
yeah.
then
So
things got
yeah,
more serious and you kind of had to make a decision on what was going to happen.
yeah. So we met actually at, funnily enough, at a skate park, which is pretty
Okay.
fun, and we met. I kind of a few like a couple of years ago, 3 or so years ago,
Okay.
and then we kind of yeah, at the time I was like, oh well, she's a dual citizen, so we she had the flexibility of being in Australia and America, and it wasn't a worry. Whereas we were like, oh, if you want to go to the States, we're going to have to start some paperwork. So the
Yeah.
paperwork took about a year, and I came to the States on a K1 fiance visa. So it's a end of the country. You got 90 days to get married, and then you get like a work visa after a while. Then you get your green card interview. So it's like a I never realized how like the not like the anxiety of like because you're in the country for a while until you know you can stay. So
Yeah.
you're here and you don't actually know if they're going to approve me or not. So I'm a permanent resident now, but for like six
Yeah.
months I wasn't sure if I could stay. So you're like trying to set up a life, but at the same time they could say no. So that was like daunting. I wouldn't. Yeah, that was the most daunting thing I reckon about that. But
And then so kind of go through that. Do one thing for me is yeah, what was your experience like in that Australian apprenticeship? And like how does it work compared to us in the States? Because I know we are kind of different, you know?
yeah, that's a good question. I get that. I get so this could this will stem on to that question, but the biggest question I get asked here, which is what type of carpenter are you? And so to like, oh,
Okay.
what and I at first I was like, I don't know what you're talking about, because to me, like, a carpenter is a carpenter. The same way your mechanic serves your car, the carpenter serves your house like that. So
Yeah.
in a residential apprenticeship in the where I'm from, so I'm from the state of Victoria and then about an hour from Melbourne, and our apprenticeship is like, no, like, you have to like do everything step by step, from like putting posts and stumps in to framing out the house to straightening the walls to doing this, like, depending on where you are in the world, like siding or cladding, weatherboards, all that, and then like your windows, your doors, your trim, like the whole, like, every aspect of
Anything
carpentry.
that has to do with wood, essentially.
Absolutely, yeah. And
Yeah.
so it's like, to come here and then people go, oh, like, oh, you a framer? I'm like, oh no, like, I can frame, like, but I'm not a framer. I'm a carpenter, like, or like, you do windows and doors. I'm like, oh, I can do that, but that's not like who I am. Like, I'm not
Yeah.
like a window, and so that's been the biggest difference for me, is because there doesn't seem to be like the formal training. Like, when you meet an Australian carpenter, like, they've all gone through the same like regimen of schooling. So it's 4 year
Yep.
apprenticeship. It's 4 year apprenticeship, 40 hours on site a week, and then you got to do schoolwork and bookwork alongside that. So it's like pretty rigorous. And at the time, you're like, oh, this sucks. But then when you get out of it and you're older, you're like, oh no, it's actually great, because you know the dude who's next to you is pushing the same quality work. So I really like it, and I would love to see something like that here, because it
Well, what
kind of,
it is the union is that,
yeah,
but you guys have essentially a nationalized union,
yeah,
right?
right,
Where here in the States, there's two things at least that I kind of think that's going on. Here in the States, you have union and then you have private, right? And
right,
so private is where I am. It's way more Wild West. The education
yeah,
is up to you. You learn on the job. And then two, like with carpenters being like either framers or finished carpenters here, um, I think it's more of a production mentality here in the
yeah.
US. We like everybody to have their task, and that allows us to be more productive as a country.
Yeah.
I guess if that makes sense, but it does. The one problem is like where you are with where we are today. Once the knowledge gap appears, that's when your production completely drops because there's nobody to
That's what I
fill that
found.
spot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, and that's what I found, because like, especially if you're the guy framing, and then and you're also the guy doing all the finish work, you're gonna make sure that frame's perfect. Whereas if, like, in a perfect world, the framer would care just as much, even though he's not finishing it.
yeah.
But if you don't have that understanding of why the walls need to be straight, why this needs to be like this, why like everything has to be right, because you're the guy finishing it, I think that's where I see the biggest like mishaps happen. And I think most people are like agree with that too. It's just this is how the system seems to be. So
A lot of young guys, like when we're framing a bigger ADU or something with a bathroom, I always say, hey, like be really careful with the interior walls in the bathroom and stuff. Make sure they're like perfectly level, crown everything, like really put attention to detail. And you're like, oh, why is that? And it's like, well, because I'm the one who's going to be laying the tile
yeah,
later, and I
yeah,
want a flat wall. And even if it's not me, I know the tile guy is going to be bitching at me if I don't
yeah,
have a flat wall. And he's going to talk to the owner. He's going to talk a bunch of shit about me that I can't frame. Like,
yeah.
and so that's, yeah, exactly. If you know all the trades, you'll make sure you do a good job on every single stage.
Absolutely. And like, I found that, because it's like in Australia, that that product the I think the you use the right word, the production mindset, or like, it's about that is in that it's definitely there too. And a lot of people say, like, because I'll talk about it and people are like, oh no, but it is definitely there too. But I found where I was from, in like a strong residential game, you'll have it like in what you could say is like a true carpenter, like a carpenter covering it all. And say the contractor, which would be equivalent to a builder, would have his group of like 4 or 5 guys that would build the whole house, all covers of aspects of carpentry. But when you get into the cities or wherever it might be, then they will bring in framers, like siding guys, and it turns into that like production. So it's still there, but I've never experienced it so heavily in your face. That's my point. So yeah, the hardest, the biggest part of it for sure.
So, what has been your biggest challenge? It can either be trade wise or personal. What's been your biggest challenge, like transitioning to the U.S. and the U.S. style of things?
All right. Okay. A big challenge for trade is for sure the terminology. So you
Yeah.
might, I'll understand. Okay, no. So that's hold on. Once explained, oh yeah, no, I know how to do that. But like for example, if someone goes, oh yeah, we're just putting this ledger up, right? Like for a deck or whatever, and
Yep.
I was there like, what is a ledger? Like, I don't know. But
Yeah.
in Australia, where I'm from, it's called a whaling plate. So it's not like these small different names, or like a lag screw would be a batten screw.
Okay.
All these different things where, so the first time I did a private job and I went to like a Home Depot and I'm just looking at all the different names of things. And that was the biggest throw off. The imperial system isn't hard because you're just reading the tape. So it's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. Yeah.
you just read the tape. Like it might take you a bit longer than the guy next to you, but you can still, if you can read a tape, you can read a tape. So that wasn't hard. The terminology is the hardest, and then yeah, I think the terminology's definitely been the hardest for sure. I'm used to it now. Like I've been here long enough now that, but like even moving to Tennessee, it's different to California a
Well,
little
dude,
bit.
well, that's what I mean. I'm glad you were in California first and stuff because what we call stuff here in California, like when I was in Texas,
Oh yeah,
I was saying stuff and they're like, no, 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 that's not what that is. That's what this is. You know what I mean? Like a
yeah,
cat's paw
yeah,
means two different things there. And
yeah.
then, yeah, exactly. So the terminology is a little bit different. So it does separate as you go throughout the states. Everybody
Oh,
calls everything different.
oh, it's yeah. That's a throw off, but I don't know what other states
Well, and then
would.
what about the accent changes? In Australia, do you guys have a large swath of like accent changes? But like, because here in the US, you have West Coast accent, you have Mid East accent, you have the Southern accent, the East Coast accent. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so I definitely because we did the drive. So I think when we got to like when I really noticed that accent, like because obviously it's different full stop wherever you are to
Yeah.
Australians. Amarillo, Texas. I stopped at a gas station and that this old lady had like a twang, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I've never heard that before. Um, but I think with Australia, like people might disagree or agree. Like this is just what I've noticed. It's like I think it just gets thicker. So I don't think like say you've got like Boston, you've got California, where it's like, oh, that's totally different.
Yeah.
But I think Australians, it just gets like thicker. So it's like
Okay.
you can tell an Aussie, they don't sound so much apart, but it just gets like real thicker. And mine's dulled down a lot. Like my accent's dulled down, but like
Yeah.
it gets some Aussies are like, yeah, I was about to do an Australian phrase, which it made no sense at all. But it's like it gets real thick, and even now I struggle. Like my grandfather-in-law and stuff have real strong Australian accents where you can't understand them, and like my
Yep.
wife couldn't even understand her own grandfather because she grew up in America. Um, so yeah, it just gets thicker. It doesn't change. I don't think it just gets either real thick or dull. Like cities, it's dull. Then like you meet a good old country boy real thick. Like, so yeah.
All right. And then so you plan to stay in the US or do you plan to go to Australia? I mean, it seems like you guys kind of flip-flop and stuff. Kind of a nice
Yeah.
situation, a little international couple. You get to
Yeah.
explore the US, you got Australia back. That's a cool kind of lifestyle there. So
Yeah.
what's your future plans in this? Like you think you're going to become a contractor here or you just want to bang stuff out, have fun, figure it out later? What are you thinking?
Well, that's on my mind a lot at the moment. I don't want to, I don't need to, at the moment, I have no like desire to go live back in Australia. Um, I, I do want to stay here. And the thing is like, like, I feel like I belong here. Like, I just like, I
Yeah.
feel like it feels right for me to be here, but I just haven't figured out like
Yeah,
where.
were you wondering
So
why your ancestors got on one boat, mine got on another? You know
yeah,
what I
yeah,
mean? They just
yeah,
ended up in a different spot in the world, you know? It's like
yeah, absolutely. But yeah, I haven't figured out because our lease is up in here in July 1st. We're out of this place we're in, and I don't think we'll. Oh, I don't need to stay, but I don't need to go. Like in a way
uh-huh.
of like in Chattanooga, so I don't need to stay here, but I don't need to leave. So it kind of does. make me want to like go somewhere else because I'm hoping like when I find the right place, I'm like, oh no, like this is where I want to be. So that's why when you said you moved, I was curious about your move. You said you're in Texas for a little while. You said,
Well, yeah, so during the pandemic, I mean, everything was all crazy, and the guy I was working for at the time closed down his company. We had like one last job right when it hit, that we finished up, and then he signed off on my license, and so I went out fully on my own after that. I'd always done side work and
yeah,
handyman work, but yeah, and then one guy I helped flip houses. I did all the foundation work for him. He was like, "Hey, dude, I'm building a house in Texas. Do you want to come out and do it?" And I said, "Yeah, dude. I mean, I have no clue what else I'm gonna do. You know what I mean? It's like." So I actually got married, and the next day I actually left for Texas for 3 months. Yeah,
wow,
like left my wife at home and
yeah,
everything, and yeah, and in all honesty, that was a great experience for me. I did completely fuck that project up. It's a big learning experience, probably
yeah,
like a
yeah,
$40,000 fuck up, but it is what it is. I'm out of it.
yeah.
I'm better
No,
now.
yeah,
But
absolutely.
yeah, when I was there, we almost bought a house there. I mean, everything was expensive back then, but
Yeah,
comparative to California, it was fucking nothing. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
absolutely.
And so we put in three offers actually on three different houses. We got outbid on each one. But I tell everybody that happened for a reason. Um, I'm so glad I stayed in California.
Yeah,
Everything like really bounced back like crazy, and I do love the sunshine and just the freedom
yeah,
you have here in a way. Even though
yeah.
that sounds crazy to somebody who isn't from here to hear that.
Yeah, no,
Um,
I've come to the same conclusion, believe it or not. I'm very much contemplating coming back at the end of this lease. So, yeah,
well, I'm telling you, man, like, listen, it's expensive here, and you do get taxed up the ass. Like, don't get me wrong. But I've told people this many times. There's two places that I'd commit a murder: in the middle of the woods or in the middle of San Francisco. Because
yeah,
everybody in California, man, just turns the other way. Like you just
yeah,
can do what you want. That's what I mean by freedom, dude. Like
yeah.
really, nobody really cares you're surfing and smoking a doob or like doing all this stuff. Like other parts of the country, man, it feels like you get hassled for doing the stupidest shit.
Oh yeah,
You know what I mean?
oh yeah, yeah. Like moving to
And
the
I mean, we're
south,
ass
man. Yeah,
backwards too. Don't get me
yeah,
wrong. Like, there's stuff
yeah,
that's enforced here where I'm like, what the hell? Like, this doesn't make
yeah,
sense. But I don't know, man. I just feel like it's a lot more live and let live
yeah,
mentality, you know?
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, it's definitely like as like an immigrant, like not being from here, being like spending about 9 or 10 months in San Diego, and then being in the South, like in Chattanooga, like in
Yeah.
Tennessee, you really, really can like what I have seen is this huge polarization in the country, like, and then the states, and then the people, and it just like as much as it's been a massive challenge, but it's like so. I'm glad that I experienced it firsthand and could see it for myself because
Yeah.
you have people in California telling you what like, oh, what San Diego's, I mean, what Tennessee, the South is like, and you're like, oh
Yeah.
yeah, like, whatever, you're just being extreme, and then you go to the South, and you're like, oh no, there is definitely rings truth to that, and then like you have the people here telling you about, oh, California's this, and like, yeah, there rings truth to that too, but it's like until you experience it for yourself. I just couldn't. I don't think anyone can really comment until you experience it for yourself because the rest is all you see on the internet. It's all you see, like political wise. But the actual lifestyle change, I honestly, it's like I'd rather pay the
Yeah,
money,
dude.
man.
Lifestyles are like
Yeah,
dramatically different. I know.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm coming to the conclusion that I want to go back and I'd rather pay the money because here, that was the harshest winter I've ever had.
Yeah.
Uh, just the
Hey, bro,
freezing, like,
just give me. Thanks a lot, dude. Yeah.
yeah, all right, man. Yeah, yeah,
Hopefully
all right.
that's all.
Hold on, I might have lost you. Did that pop out?
No, no, no. I'm back.
Uh, okay, cool, cool.
I've hope maybe I don't know if you want kids, but maybe that'll be in your future dealing with the
Yeah,
little munchkins.
yeah. No, eventually it just kind of see where the world goes and see where I land in the world. It's
Well, it's
just
funny you say that. I was gonna say Unfortunately, that's kind of why I mean, again, this war with Iran is a little weird. It's a little more polarizing, but I think
Yeah,
that's why we're such a warmongering country
yeah,
because we only come together as a country when we are in a war.
yeah. Wow. You
It's
know what?
so much
Yeah,
infighting
yeah,
all the time here, but when we go to war with somebody else, like we're in it together. You know what
yeah.
I mean? It's like I don't know what it is.
Yeah, it's been crazy to be here now. It's yeah, it's crazy. Everything's spot like, yeah, no, I don't know what to think, but I just know like it's spiked up. You can really see it in people, the fear, and it hasn't been so pleasant. So yeah, as I was saying before, like with the lifestyle difference, it's just unbelievable. Like that, I know there's going to be people listening that are from like Ohio where they get 2 feet of snow, and they've got to
Yeah,
understand
man,
that
those
I'm a
Ohio
beach
guys,
boy.
Jesus.
Yeah, like I grew up around a beach. I could walk to the beach, and I've come here, and it's been like below freezing, and I got snow on my car, and and I'm wearing thermals to work in, like, I can't feel my hands, and that to me is like, whoa, I'm used to the beach, man. Like, so it's
Yeah,
like
dude.
it was a huge shock, and then our rental has been terrible, and so it was like in these freezing cold nights, and the heaters weren't working, so you're just like, oh shit, man, it's so cold.
See, in
So
California, if the heater doesn't work, it is what it is. You make some coffee, you warm
yeah,
up, and you just go to bed.
yeah, I know. Just get an extra get an extra blanket and you're sweet. If not, nothing.
Yeah.
But yeah, oh, cool, man.
So yeah, I would say what would be what's the thing that you probably like the best that is different from Australia? Like what really makes you like the US or and working in the US compared to there?
All right, so on a level of like the US, um, well, I think that my trucks are sick. I can't lie about that. I could not drive those
Everybody,
home.
dude, I swear,
Yeah,
every foreign guy I talk to, they go, "Man, the first thing I did was buy a big truck," you
yeah,
know?
I
And I'm
got,
like,
yeah,
"Yeah, dude, you know, it's like like
yeah,
my
it's great. Like,
Tundra is small. A
oh
Tundra
yeah,
is a small truck, you know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
It's like
yeah.
especially where you are. Those guys have like
Oh yeah.
5500s and stuff, you know?
Yeah, like I've got I'm sure you might have some listeners. I got like a 99 like 7.3, so it's an F250
Yeah,
7.3
yeah,
liter
yeah.
diesel, and then I've got a brick. It's a brick nose. It's a 1990. It's a 7.5 liter 4 door long bed, like old Ford, and so they're sick, and like that to me is like the dream trucks right there. So I'm pretty stoked about driving those. And then work wise, I'm not sure. It definitely has been a challenge in like the mentality, and a lot of people that I've worked for, like or work not worked for, sorry, worked alongside like that. The workers, it doesn't seem to be as many people's passion here as I've did at home. Like so, a lot of
Okay.
people I've worked with at home, it's like they're passionate about it and they love it, and that could once again like I'm not from the whole country, so I'm only like speaking from my experience. But
Yeah.
here I've found it's like what I've seen at least. It's more like what I've seen. It's a lot of the bosses and the contractors. They're the dudes that are like probably like yourself, right? You're passionate about it, so you took it to that level where it's your show now. Like
Yeah.
and and so then I find because that's where I want to be too. Like to answer your question further, we missed that bit, but yeah, I want to. I definitely will do it for myself eventually once I get my name and my clientele and all those things that you need. But I find it's a lot of people say how hard it is to find good workers and people that are passionate about it. And then being the dude who's passionate about it, being the worker, I'm not working alongside people that are as passionate as I. So that's a big challenge. Obviously, yeah, your question was what's my favorite, but I haven't like the trucks in the work scene at least. The trucks is my favorite. Just being
Yeah.
able to, that's sick. And that like at the moment we've been doing a cool job. It's uh Fisher Sips, which is the
Oh yeah, I
structural
was watching
insulation.
that a little bit. I was actually really
Yeah,
interested because I do that prefab stuff. They're not SIPs, but
yeah,
I've checked those out, man, and those things are pretty cool. I do have to say.
yeah. I couldn't believe it, man. Like just literally a perimeter like of 2x10s or whatever it is,
Yep.
styrofoam, OSP, craned up, landed in, and that's the ceiling. Because I missed the frame for this job, but that was that was the ceiling, and I could not believe that was like structure enough to build a house.
And so
Um,
all the electric and stuff is run on the inside, or is it the conduit is pre-installed in the wall and
so
everything? If I'm because again, I haven't seen them in person, but I've only read about them and stuff.
well, for this one, I think there's pre-drilled like runs for the electrical in this one. So
Okay.
like on the external walls, they're already pre-drilled. I didn't do the frame, so that's what my boss said. But then the ceiling, I was talking to the client. I believe that they actually have to drop the ceiling, like fur it out, and then run the electrical, and
Okay.
then the plumbing has to be run all internal walls. So that's what we're doing at the moment. So we're using like in some sections like a 2x6 or a 2x8, and so they can wrap around and like so it's all internally. So that's been really cool. And then the angles in the ceiling was like I'm not sure if you saw the job we were doing, but
No, I did. Yeah, it was a big
yeah,
hit.
that was fun
Yeah.
to frame. That was like I love being able to think like so that was really fun. Now I'm finding like more like the thing that really lights me up is like the high performance homes, the sustainable homes, the passive homes, or like old restorations, like the historic homes where like the dudes that are there, they're there because they love it. Like they're there
Yeah.
because like that's what excites them in the morning, and so that's like the direction I want to head in. And at home, I worked along, obviously not in my name, but like worked for builders doing like passive homes, and then here the build
Yeah,
the
so if you don't mind me interrupting you,
yeah.
what's the most of the building like in Australia? Are the people spending the money for those passive homes, or is it like here in the US, you got to have your money and it's one here and there and a lot of production? What's the building types there, you know?
All right, where I'm from, the style, see, it's the same as here. I'm not sure how many people actually like get the certified, the full,
I
like,
would say maybe 1%. You know what I
right,
mean?
okay,
That's what I mean.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a very you're gonna maybe do 5 passive homes in your entire contractor life
Oh
if
wow,
you're a
yeah,
big home builder. You
yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. I have from this is like, from where I'm from. The builders I was around, it was more building in the style of it. Like I'd never actually done one that was like fully like they were like certifying it. Like I know
Okay.
people that were blower testing their houses, but it was more for their peace of mind rather than getting the certificate.
Okay.
And then doing their windows and their battens and their wrap and the internal wrap and all these things. But a lot of people that I'd worked for, which is probably similar to here, they were doing it to build like that, but they're not trying to get down to that like full like that
Yeah, they're
seat
just
where
using
it's
the
so
same techniques and stuff like
yeah.
that. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I haven't like that's only from my experience though, and I'm sure it's the same here. Where the money is, they'll do it. But I just hadn't been around that type of money to be
That's just the
honest. So
only problem with those type of building types is like they're
yeah,
great and they're amazing and it's like super awesome, but it just the common person one hard to educate on it and like get them to understand everything, and then
yeah,
two
for
for them to
sure.
foot the bill for those extra,
Oh, absolutely.
ceiling and all that stuff, you know.
Yeah,
But the thing is like design wise, everything's kind of going more passive, if that makes sense, like in the new
yeah,
construction,
yeah. I
um,
agree. Yeah,
but on like a cheaper way. But the products are getting way cheaper and way easier to use too, so that's
yeah.
also what's helping.
Oh, absolutely. I've
I would
noticed the
say,
same thing. Yeah, I've
you know.
noticed the same thing. It's good to see, to be honest. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
So, yeah, so like I said, I interrupted you just for the building types and everything. I
Oh,
don't know
that's
if you have
cool.
anything to elaborate on that. Like, I also saw you were looking at on your story. Like, so are you thinking maybe Florida? Because said you were looking for
Oh,
carpenters in Florida.
yeah. So my wife has a condo currently like rented out, but it's in like near St. Pete Clearwater area.
Okay.
So our two main or three, sorry, three main options when our lease is up here is one, stay here, two, I'm open to going back to San Diego, or three, when her tenant will be out the same month, so we'd go down there. So we've got 2 months till we have to start looking, like because we want to have something organized.
Yeah.
Whether it's a rental here or down in Florida. So I put that up on my story because I was curious, because it's an 8 hour drive from here. So I can go down on a Friday afternoon, finish early, meet some contractors. And because last time we moved, we came, I never even been here before. Like, I
Well,
only
you
heard,
see the
yeah.
driving difference between the East Coast and the West Coast, dude. The
Oh,
states are
yeah.
way easier to get to and
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
Absolutely. So this time I was like, oh, moving without a plan is what we did last time, and it was a lot. So this time I want a plan. So I'm going to fly around and meet people if the opportunity's there, just to get an idea because it's cool moving, but it kind of throws your nervous system off in the way like you're not sure where to settle, and
Yeah.
then so you're kind of always ready to move, and it's fun, but after a while it gets tiring. So we're looking to settle. So
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
until we got this house, we moved a lot. Lived in Marin, like the county that I grew up in, and then we yeah lived there for a bit, and then moved up to this place called Petaluma. Then we went down other side of the bay, San Jose, and then we finally got this place. So like we were jumping around everywhere. And then I was
Yeah.
in Texas for like 3 months. I pretty much lived there.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it seems like nothing's ever unpacked. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like you're always
Oh,
half unpacked and
yeah.
yeah, but again, you're still young, man. I was doing the same thing at your age. Like I think it's kind of that is kind of the US experience, man. I hate to say
Yeah.
it. Is like you get
Yeah.
kicked out of your parents' house and you're moving around a bunch and trying to
Yeah.
find where you're going to settle down, you know.
Yeah.
Then the thing with Florida, like if you go there, I don't know what it's like in Tennessee, but like in Florida, there's a lot more like masonry and concrete kind of stuff, like
Oh,
block
wow.
houses, all
Yeah.
that stuff. You know what I mean? So it's a little bit
Yeah.
different construction.
Oh, wow. No, I'm glad you said that because I wouldn't have a clue. So,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
I was at this house and the whole thing was made out of cinder blocks, and that's like
Wow.
unheard of here in California.
Yeah.
And I like looked the development up and looked at the history, and so I figured it out. But like back in Florida, dude, they make houses out of block all the time. You know what I
Wow.
mean? And so
Yeah.
it's like I was just hanging a mirror for the lady, but I was like, dude, why isn't this screw going in? There should be a stud here. Like I can tell there's a stud here. And then I
Yeah.
like really look at it, I'm like, oh no, this is a concrete block wall, man. That's
Yeah. No.
not wood. It's not gonna do it.
Yeah.
So yeah, and have you seen that change from California building to Tennessee? I don't know how much building you did here in San Diego, but you see the difference of building there too. Like they don't have the
Oh, yeah.
seismic code. They
Yeah.
don't, you know what I mean? It's like totally
Yeah.
different ball game.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And even just like the look, just a simple cosmetic look in the way the house looks is totally different. And then you drive 8 hours down to like St. Pete and Clearwater, and the house is all like that pastel color, and then here the totally different. It's more you can really see like the southern style, as someone who
Yeah.
only ever sees it sort of like before I moved to the states, you only ever see it on the internet, and you like the big properties with the big homes in them, and it's like the whole American. That's an American home, and so then you see that, and then in San Diego, I worked for like where did I work? I'm not sure how familiar you are with a lot in like Ramona was like the country, like it's like the desert, the country type
Yeah,
of
yeah,
thing,
yeah.
and then in like a few smaller towns, like La Mesa, and did some work at a restaurant, and kind of just bounced around there for a while, like moving country, just trying to find your feet somewhere, and still did like a lot of the carpentry work. But you can definitely see the difference in the trade in just the same country, and that blew my mind. Yeah,
Did you drive through the Southwest at all, Arizona, New Mexico, and stuff to get over to Tennessee? Did you drive through there?
yeah.
What'd
Our
you think
route.
about what'd you think about the Adobe style building there and everything like that? I mean, it's like all stucco and you know
Oh,
what I
I
mean?
know. Yeah, the New Mexico. That's a throw off. That's another throw off. I think is like the biggest one. Like because we drove. Where did we drive? We went San Diego, Parker, Arizona, Flagstaff,
Yeah, to probably
Flagstaff.
Albuquerque, huh?
Yeah, went through
Yeah,
Albuquerque, and just the pass that like I think that's the amazing that Adobe finish.
yeah.
Like it's just yeah, that's a throw off. It doesn't seem real. I'm like, why? There's people living here. That's crazy. Like, um, and uh, and
I
then
know, dude, man. I gotta say, man, like, yeah, those people are somewhat lizards. I did a
yeah,
project. I did a project in Tucson,
Oh
one
yeah,
of those sheds. I flew down there and it was great. I went there in February, but dude, like it got 80 degrees in like February. And I was
yeah.
like,
Well,
and I was talking to them like, oh yeah, it gets like 120 easy and stuff. I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, I love the heat, man, but holy shit, like that.
that's
It
a whole
if you
new
don't have
level.
AC, you
Yeah.
die. You
Oh
literally
yeah,
die if you don't have air conditioning, you know?
yeah. That's a whole new level of heat though. 120, far out.
Well, and then what about the humidity in Tennessee? Was that a surprise to you, or do you have humidity back home?
Um, we haven't. So we come here in like what would you call it? Like fall, like autumn, fall,
Okay,
and
so you haven't really hit it yet. Yeah.
no, it's just starting this like the last couple of days. Like we've been getting like patches of warm weather, then cold, warm, and cold. But today, I like. Oh, I don't like it too humid, but I
Yeah.
like that feeling. I'm used to that. Like not ridiculous, but you can like your skin, isn't completely dry, and your lips aren't
Yeah.
cracking, and your hands aren't like you knock your hand, they aren't slicing open. I haven't had the summer here, and apparently it can be brutal. So we're just gonna have to see. But
Here's the other question. Is it true that everything in Australia is trying to kill you?
oh, dude, no, like it's like so the same way, like if you go out, like so, I presume you're talking about like animals and the
Yeah,
wildlife.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
Um, if you go out and look for it, you'll find some spiders and some snakes. And the country, if you have like suburbs and country, suburbs you're fine. Like
yeah, yeah,
the,
yeah.
the 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 country is the same as like going out in the country hunting here or like the desert here, or like just watch your step. Obviously, the further you go, the more you see. I haven't spent too much time in like the outback and stuff, but like
Yeah,
yeah, I've
yeah.
seen snakes. I've
Well, yeah,
seen
everybody
sharks.
says that just because it's like almost everything you see is either poisonous or something or
Trying to
whatever. I mean,
bite
it's
you, or
normal for
yeah,
you
I hear it
guys,
all the
but
time.
here,
Yeah,
dude, like, our cockroaches are the size of your thumbnail or something. You know what I mean? Like, we
yeah,
really don't deal with much, you know?
yeah.
So it's like, for us,
I'm
it's
trying
like
to.
the worst thing I'm gonna find is a rattlesnake. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's the
yeah,
worst.
yeah. Snakes terrify me, even though I've seen plenty of them, but they're not my friends.
Dude, but they terrify my dad, man. Like, I don't know what it is. I don't know how I'm his son, but dude, snakes don't bother me at all. I don't know what it
Wow,
is.
no,
Yeah.
that slipperiness to them just not for me.
They feel
And then
weird, man. You pick one up, it feels
yeah,
weird because like
yeah,
it's literally almost like these scales, right? And they're
yeah,
pushing against you to move it. And
yeah,
so it does have a weird feeling on it. I couldn't
absolutely
do
that.
bugs though, man. Bugs, man, that's me. Like big bugs, oh, I hate it. I can't do it.
Oh man, I don't know what. Okay, the in some parts of the country, I'm not ever gonna live there. Like in Australia, people have to wear on their hats like nets that go down to their shoulders because there's so many flies. So
Yeah.
it's like the fly nets.
That
That to
would be
me,
Alaska. In the summer, Alaska, the
okay.
mosquitoes and the flies get really bad because they can only hatch one part of the year. You know what I
Oh
mean?
wow, yes, they
So
just
they
come
get
then.
bad
Yeah,
there. Yeah. And then in the south, kind of, but I feel like it's a little more under control. You know what I
yeah,
mean? But again, you haven't had a summer there yet. So
yeah. I don't. Yeah, I think for me, it's like I don't mind the heat, but like okay, for example, what's today? Today's Saturday.
yeah,
I was in shorts and t-shirt today. Yesterday, I was in singlet and shorts at work. On Monday, it was snowing.
yeah.
Like it's the polarization is just like I don't mind the heat, but when it goes from freezing in the same week to hot, that's what throws me off the hardest. But like when it you build up to one, it's like oh the cold's not that bad when you get used to it. The heat's not that bad when you get used to it. But
Yep.
when in 6 days you've got snow on your car and then 2 days later you're in shorts and t-shirt, that's been crazy. So
I mean,
yeah,
that's insane. That is pretty insane. I don't have to deal with that, luckily, But
yeah,
again, that's why it's so expensive here. Everybody wants to be here. It's very
yeah,
stable weather-wise and everything like that.
yeah,
But
absolutely.
all right, dude. Well, it was great talking to you, man. Great story and everything. What I guess because usually I ask people like, what would your advice be to young people? But I guess you're in a little more unique situation. So I'm gonna go. What would your advice be to somebody thinking about coming to the States and start to work here? What would be your advice? Stuff you wish you knew when you
All right.
started, all that stuff.
My my advice, I'll start with like yeah, what I wish I knew, I would bring. This is just a small one. I'd bring all my tools. I wouldn't worry. I wouldn't worry about clothes. I wouldn't worry about. I would just bring all your tools and get ready to work because in the way of wages. So this is talking to a young Australian or a young someone.
Yeah.
Uh, your wage is totally different here. So a carpenter out in the so where I am, top guys make I think 30 to 35 an hour, and that's like some bosses that like he goes, I don't pay anyone above 29 or whatever it is. Whereas at home, a qualified carpenter on the books, like and so equivalent to W2,
Yeah.
you can make like 45, $50 an hour, uh, and so then your lifestyle reflects the money, and so it's like I sold a lot of my tools, and then you take a wage cut, and you can't afford to buy tools, and you like as much. So it's like if you can come over here with your kit sorted out already, it puts you in a better position because you're more hireable because you've got all your tools. And then I think as well, it's like just you just let I think as well like let yourself land. Don't rush. Don't to me don't rush into it because it is a huge adjustment and not no one's expecting you to know everything like in the way of like how this new measuring system works and all these names and all these like all the terminology and just it's just for me it was slow down because I was like oh no I got to work like and it's all good but I think just slow down and ask questions. Uh, yeah, just ask questions. And I think as an Australian, I've had to learn to slow my accent down a lot. So I might be talking quick to you now, but I used to talk. A lot of Aussies I know talk so quick, and it's the accent's a huge one. And then also as well
Well,
something
I'm
I'd never.
telling you, dude, that accent is a kind of a plus here, man. I'm telling you, because they might stick you in that sales lead role or
Yeah,
like, you know what I mean? Because I don't know what it is. Some people, an accent gets going and they just shut up and listen, you know? Like,
and that's one thing as well. Like people will like shut up, but they don't understand you, but they don't
yeah,
tell you they don't understand you. So it's like, brother, did you catch anything I just said? Like,
yeah.
um, but and then one thing as well, like I never experienced like I've been on job sites where I'm the only English speaking person, and that's something as well. Just like that I don't even have advice for that. Just be
Yeah.
wary of it because I don't
Well,
know what to
yeah,
do.
if you don't mind me asking, like, do you guys have immigrant labor in Australia? You must have something like
Yeah,
from Indonesia or something,
yeah.
or
Chinese and like
okay.
Indians in like India, not like
Yeah, yeah, no, yeah,
yeah
not Native
yeah
Americans. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, we
not
got
like
two
yeah
Indians here. Yeah.
yeah because I know I was like oh that could be the same thing, but the Chinese. So the way we have like America has like the Spanish workers
Yeah, yeah,
or like
yeah.
not this prevalent, but that's how like the Indian and the Chinese immigrants like we've got like the Chinese like equivalent to drywall, and
Yeah.
like that they're gonna come in and smash it out like,
Yeah.
and that's just like where I was from. That's just how it was. And then like we've had a lot of Indian immigrants, and then but you still like so out of the cities I think or out of the cities where I was from it was still predominantly like Aussie like carpenters and a
Yeah.
carpenter at home. If someone was to ask me, "Oh, what do you do?" I'd say I'm a chippy, and that's you, mother. What's a chippy? Like chippy is just an abbreviation for like a carpenter. So
Yeah.
like it's just like, oh yeah, I'm a chippy. That's just who I am. I'm a carpenter. So most of the chippies are all Aussies that where I was from. But I know when you go to like Sydney and the Melbourne city itself, you get a lot more, or like some parts of Sydney he's like a lot of Lebanese. Actually,
Okay.
that's I didn't think about that one. The Lebanese population in some places is pretty big. There's an Aussie listen to this, they'll probably crack up, but it is true. So, yeah,
But yeah, so dealing with the Hispanic guys and everything. Did you do well?
yeah,
I mean, dude, I get along with them, man. I get along with the Hispanic guys. Like they
oh
work
yeah,
hard
yeah.
and
No,
you know what I
I have a
mean? They're
great
super
time.
funny
Yeah,
to be around and
yeah.
I've never had a bad time with them, you know what I mean?
No, they cooked. So first
Yeah,
job I
what do you
went
think
to in the
about
south.
Mexican food? Yeah.
Oh, dude, unreal. It's great. Yeah, you can taste it. Like it's like yeah, it's because I've been to like parts of Asia, so like Vietnam, Laos, and Thailand.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
you
yeah.
go like Thai in Thailand, but then you come. to like Australia and you eat Thai food, oh, this isn't the same. And that's
Correct.
exactly how when you come in, you eat proper like Spanish or Mexican food or however you say it. And that's been unreal. Like what Australia won't ever top that.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, that's good,
yeah.
man. Well, dude, I wish you luck on your journey. Thanks for doing
Thank
this
you.
little impromptu interview and stuff. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? I
Cool.
think it was good. I think you have a unique story and everything, and I'm
Yeah.
glad you like the US. I hope you find your roots,
Thank
open
you.
a
Yeah. Me
construction
too.
company, and go
Yeah.
from there, man.
Absolutely. And you're in San Francisco, right?
Yeah, so the Bay Area, I live just north of it, Marin County,
Yeah.
and everything, and yeah, but I'll never leave. I'll stay here
Yeah.
forever.
Cool. Sick. Well, if I'm ever
But
up that way, I'll make sure I let you know, man.
yeah, if you do, let me know.
Absolutely.
All right, dude,
Cool.
have a good one.
Peace. Take care, man.
You too.